Right, it's pretty windy here, but I'm going to give this a go. Tourism accounts for about 10% of Vietnam's gross domestic product, 10% of the value of its income. That means it's really significant, and most of that is probably coming from places like this at the beach, large resorts, some of which are being built behind me right now. Now, in order to protect those beaches and secure that source of income, that source of GDP, you have to act against coastal erosion. And one of the ways you can do that is through the use of hard engineering. Behind me is a great example of hard engineering. It's a groyne. You can see it there just in the background. This is made of huge sandbags. Often they're made of wood, sometimes they're made of stone or concrete. And the idea is the prevailing wind, which is blowing and maybe making loads of noise on this video right now, is dragging sand across the length of the beach. That's called longshore drift. And by placing these groynes, these perpendicular structures at right angles to the beach, to the coast, the movement of that sand is halted. And that should protect, along the area of this resort, that should protect the amount of sand, the width of the beach, thereby protecting this as a tourist hotspot where people are going to want to come. The problem is, it stops the movement of sand up the beach, and so erosional processes taking place further along the coast, the sand isn't going to be replenished on those parts of the beach. So it's great for this place, but further along not so great. Groynes are one example of what can be used.
You can actually see the longshore drift taking place here. Look as the wave, the swash of the wave is moving up the beach towards us, and then how the prevailing wind is acting on it, so that as the backwash comes, as the wave withdraws back towards the sea, it's moving over to the left, dragging the sand with it.
Right, here's our second example of the type of hard engineering that we can use to stop coastal erosion. This is a revetment. It's a little bit like a sea wall, but it takes a lot less money to maintain it. It's a lot cheaper. The waves are going to hit onto there, and that's going to absorb the energy of those waves, keeping this coastline intact. And so all those great big buildings behind me that tourism companies have spent a lot of money on, they are going to be much more protected. And what's interesting is, just over here where the resort ends, you can see there is no revetment, and look at how far the beach is moving further inland. That would be dangerous if buildings were there, because it might damage their foundations, or it might damage the look and feel of the resort. And then further up behind us even more, you can see that another resort is being built, and they're actually building more revetments for that very same reason, to protect that new resort. So revetments are another example of hard engineering.